Your husband is literally dressed like a homeless person. Girl, you need to divorce him and find someone who can afford Aurelius, not this Walmart clearance rack tragedy. 50,000 viewers watched my wife laugh and agree. 50,000 people heard her say I was the biggest mistake of her life. 50,000 people had no idea they were watching a billionaire pretend to be poor. What happened when I finally revealed the truth would become the most viral fashion disaster in internet history. Before we dive into this unbelievable story of revenge and justice, I need your help. Our dream is to reach 500 subscribers, and without your support, it's not possible. If you enjoy stories where karma catches up with the people who deserve it, please hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. It takes just 2 seconds but means everything to us. Now, let me tell you exactly how this all unfolded. Robert Chen was 39 years old, and by all appearances the definition of average. He drove a 10-year-old Honda Accord with a small dent in the rear bumper. He wore simple clothes, usually jeans and a plain shirt from Target or Walmart. His entire wardrobe could fit in 2 suitcases, and he owned exactly 3 pairs of shoes, running sneakers, brown loafers, and black dress shoes that he'd had since his wedding day 7 years ago. He worked from home, telling everyone, including his wife, that he did consulting work for various companies. When pressed for details, he'd simply say it was boring financial stuff that nobody wanted to hear about. Most people assumed he made maybe $60,000 or $70,000 a year. Comfortable, but nothing special. His wife, Sophia, was everything he appeared not to be. At 32, she was what the internet called an influencer, with 847,000 followers hanging on her every post about fashion, lifestyle, and luxury. Her Instagram feed was a carefully curated collection of designer bags, 5-star hotel stays, and outfit of the day posts that regularly got hundreds of thousands of likes. They'd met 8 years ago at a charity event in Los Angeles. Back then, Sophia had maybe 10,000 followers and worked as a marketing assistant at a small firm. She was beautiful, ambitious, and had a laugh that could light up a room. Robert had been immediately smitten. She seemed to love his dry humor, his intelligence, and the way he really listened when she talked about her dreams of becoming a major fashion influencer. For the first 3 years, things were good, really good. She'd post cute couples photos with captions about how lucky she was to find someone who loved her for her mind, not just her looks. He supported her influencer dreams, even helping her with photography and editing when she needed it. They traveled together. Nothing too fancy, usually road trips and modest hotels, but they were happy. The change started about 4 years ago when Sophia hit 500,000 followers. Suddenly, the road trips weren't good enough. The Honda was embarrassing. His clothes were a problem. She started making comments, small at first. Why didn't he care more about his appearance? Didn't he want to look good for her? Didn't he realize that when they went out together, people judged her based on how he looked? Then came Madison, her new best friend who'd married a tech executive. Madison's husband bought her designer everything: Chanel, Gucci, Balenciaga. Madison's husband drove a Lamborghini. Madison's husband understood that image mattered in their world. Sophia would come home from lunches with Madison and look at Robert with barely concealed disappointment. The comments got sharper. The Honda became that embarrassment in the driveway. His clothes were depression-inducing. His 3 pairs of shoes were what homeless people have more of. She started going to events alone, telling people he was traveling for work when really he was. Sitting at home, watching her stories on Instagram, seeing her pretend to be single. 6 months ago, she'd started her series of live streams called Fixing Fashion Disasters. She'd bring on friends and critique their outfits, giving makeover advice and product recommendations. The streams were popular, regularly drawing 30,000 to 40,000 viewers. But last month, she'd had a revelation. Why not fix the biggest fashion disaster in her life? Her own husband. Robert had noticed other changes too. Sophia was suddenly taking a lot of girls' trips that she barely documented on social media. Unusual for someone who photographed every latte. She'd come home from these trips glowing, energized, and even more disgusted with him than before. Her phone was now password protected. She'd take calls in the bathroom with the water running, classic signs he chose to observe rather than confront. Then there was Jeremy, her ex-boyfriend who'd mysteriously started appearing in her Instagram comments again. Jeremy, who supposedly knew how to dress. Jeremy, who wore Gucci and Versace and Tom Ford. Jeremy, who understood that appearance equated to success. She'd mention him casually in conversation, always in comparison to Robert. Jeremy would never wear a Walmart shirt. Jeremy understood the importance of image. Jeremy was the kind of man who could match her aesthetic. 2 weeks ago, Robert had overheard her on the phone with Madison, not realizing he'd come home early from a coffee run. She was in the bedroom, speaker on, laughing about something. Madison's voice rang clear. "Girl, I still can't believe you married him. What were you thinking?" Sophia's response cut deep. "I thought he had potential. I thought maybe he was one of those secretly wealthy guys who just didn't care about showing it. Turns out he's exactly what he looks like, a nobody going nowhere. But don't worry, I've got plans, big plans." "The prenup?" Madison asked. "Won't matter after what I've got saved. Besides, California's a community property state. Half of whatever he's hiding in that consulting business is mine. Plus, I've been documenting everything. Every time he's embarrassed me, every event he's ruined with his appearance, every opportunity I've lost because brands don't want to work with someone married to that." Robert had stood frozen in the hallway, processing what he'd heard. She was planning to divorce him, but not before she'd extracted whatever she thought he had. The cruel irony of it all almost made him laugh out loud. If only she knew what she was throwing away. Yesterday, she'd announced her biggest live stream yet, teaching my loser husband how real men dress. She'd promoted it for days across all her social channels. The hook was brilliant from a content perspective. Her followers loved drama, and what could be more dramatic than publicly making over your own fashion-challenged husband? Robert had agreed to participate. She'd been shocked at how easily he'd said yes, but thrilled that she wouldn't have to convince him. What she didn't know was that he'd already made a call to his assistant. Operation Revelation was now in motion. The morning of the stream, Sophia spent 3 hours getting ready. Full makeup, professional lighting set up in their living room, ring lights and cameras positioned perfectly. She was wearing a $4,000 outfit she'd been gifted from various brands, each piece carefully chosen to contrast with what Robert would be wearing. His usual disaster uniform, as she called it. As the stream went live, the viewer count climbed rapidly. 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. Sophia was electric with energy, feeding off the attention. Have you ever been humiliated by someone you loved in front of others? How did you handle it? Drop your honest answer in the comments below. I'm really curious what you would do. "Hey fashion fam," Sophia practically sang into the camera. "Today's subject is my husband, Robert. Come here, babe. Let the people see what we're working with." Robert walked into frame, wearing exactly what she'd expected. A $20 Walmart shirt in plain gray, those 15-year-old jeans, and his beat-up sneakers. The comment section exploded with laughing emojis and harsh critiques. "Look at this tragedy," Sophia continued, circling him like a predator. "He's wearing a $20 Walmart shirt. I know because I saw the receipt in his car. $20. Some of you spend more on coffee." She grabbed at his jeans with theatrical disgust.
"These jeans? He's had them since college. That's 15 years, people. 15 years wearing the same pair of jeans."
"They're not even vintage, they're just old." The camera zoomed in on his feet. His shoe game? Non-existent. He owns 3 pairs total. 3. My 6-year-old nephew has more shoes than my husband. She turned back to the camera, shaking her head in mock despair. "I literally have to dress him for events or I'm too embarrassed to be seen with him. Last month, we got invited to a gallery opening. I'm talking major celebrities, fashion industry insiders, and he wanted to wear this exact outfit. This, to a gallery opening." The comments were rolling in fast, each one more cruel than the last. Sophia read them aloud with glee. "Divorce him, sis." You're too pretty for that. Is he homeless? He dresses like it. Upgrade to a man with style. He looks like he smells like clearance rack. You settled hard, girl. Sophia laughed, that bright, tinkling laugh that had once charmed Robert completely. You guys are so right. I'm basically doing charity work staying married. But that's what love is, right? Accepting someone despite their massive, glaring, embarrassing flaws. She opened their bedroom closet, the camera following. This is what failure looks like, people. 2 racks of clothes that wouldn't even fill a dorm room closet. Meanwhile, I've had to convert 2 other bedrooms into closets for my things. I deserve a husband who matches my aesthetic, she continued, returning to the living room where Robert still stood, silent and observing. Someone who understands that in this world, image is everything. That perception is reality. That what you wear tells the world who you are. She picked up her phone, showing the screen to the camera. Oh, perfect timing. My girl Madison is joining us live. Madison, tell them about your husband's latest purchase. Madison's voice filled the room through the phone speaker. Soph, he just bought me the new Aurelius bag. $47,000. It's not even in stores yet. He had to call their corporate office directly. Aurelius is everything. Sophia gushed, her eyes lighting up. That's the level of fashion house we're talking about, people. True luxury, true sophistication. Robert could never afford their anything. He thinks $50 shoes are expensive. Madison laughed. Girl, leave him and find an Aurelius-level man. You deserve someone who can dress you in the best, not someone who dresses himself from Walmart. Sophia pulled out what she called her dream board, a foam board covered in magazine cutouts of Aurelius products. Look at this bag. It cost more than Robert makes in a year. These shoes? $12,000. Robert thinks that's insane, but that's because he doesn't understand that fashion is art. Fashion is status. Fashion is everything. She held the board up next to Robert. Aurelius represents success. Robert represents settling. He thinks fashion is shallow. That's poor people mentality. My ex Jeremy knew how to dress. Gucci, Versace, Tom Ford. He understood that appearance matters. The viewer count had climbed to 52,000. Comments were flying past faster than anyone could read them. Sophia was in her element, drunk on the attention and the power of publicly humiliating the man who'd loved her for 8 years. Robert shops at Target. She announced with the same tone someone might use to announce a death in the family. I'm married to a man who shops at Target. Can you imagine walking into Target for clothes in 2024? She turned to him one more time. Anything you want to say to defend yourself, babe? Any explanation for why you choose to dress like you've given up on life? Robert looked directly into the camera, then slowly pulled out his phone. His fingers moved across the screen with practiced ease. Within seconds, a notification popped up on the stream. Aurelius International's official account with 18 million followers had just gone live. What's happening? Sophia asked, confused as her viewer count started dropping. People were leaving to watch whatever Aurelius was streaming. Robert finally spoke, his voice calm and clear. Since you want to teach me about fashion, let me teach you and your viewers about truth. He took her phone from her hands before she could protest, speaking directly to the remaining 40,000 viewers. Hi everyone. My name is Robert Chen Aurelius. For those who don't know, I'm the founder and CEO of Aurelius International. Yes, the fashion house my wife has been obsessing over for the past hour. Sophia's face went white. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. That $47,000 bag Madison's husband supposedly bought her? I designed it. I sketched the first draft on a napkin during a flight to Milan 3 years ago. Those $12,000 shoes Sophia dreams about? I created those on our honeymoon in Santorini while she was busy with the pool boy Marco. Yes, I have photos of that, by the way, he continued, his voice never rising, never showing emotion. The Walmart shirt I'm wearing? It's actually from my secret basics line that we don't advertise. Beyoncé paid $500 for this exact shirt last month. Mark Zuckerberg has 12 of them. They're only available if you know the private number to call, and we only make 100 per year. The comments section had gone completely silent. Nobody was typing. 40,000 people were witnessing the complete destruction of Sophia's entire world. My 3 pairs of shoes, sure, I only wear 3 pairs. But I own the company that makes 50,000 different designs. We have 400 stores globally. I employ 12,000 people. Last year's revenue was $1.8 billion. He pulled up something on his phone, showing it to the camera. The ex-Jeremy she keeps mentioning? Here's an email from him from last Tuesday, begging me for a job. He's broke, by the way, lives with his parents. Those designer clothes he wears? All fake. I had my team verify it. Sophia tried to speak, but Robert held up his hand. I'm not done. Since we're being honest, let's be completely honest. Should I tell everyone about your seeking arrangement profile? He showed his phone screen to the camera. Sophia Golddigger, 94. Active for the past 6 months. You've been meeting men for money while humiliating me online. He swiped to another screen. Your follower count. Here are the receipts showing you bought 600,000 of them. Your actual follower count is about 200,000. Your engagement rate? 0.3%. That's pathetic by any metric. Your brand deals. I had my marketing team investigate. You pay them to pretend to sponsor you. You're literally paying companies to make it look like they want to work with you. Sophia's phone started exploding with notifications. Her remaining viewers were screen recording everything, posting clips to Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Within minutes, she was trending nationwide. If you were in this position, would you go public like this or handle it privately? Let me know in the comments what you think is about to happen. Robert stood up, addressing everyone watching. To every single person who commented that she should divorce me, that she could do better, that I'm an embarrassment, you're right about one thing. She doesn't deserve me. She deserves exactly what she's about to get. He looked directly at Sophia. You're now globally blacklisted from every Aurelia store. Any retailer that sells you our products loses their license immediately. The prenup you signed has a moral clause that you violated approximately 300 times based on the evidence I've collected. You get nothing in the divorce. Madison's voice crackled through the phone speaker. Sophia, what's happening? Tom just texted me. He says the Aurelius bag is being returned. He says we're broke. He says he's been lying about having money this whole time. Robert smiled for the first time. Oh, Madison's husband, Tom. Yeah, I know him. He approached me for a loan last month. Apparently, he's $600,000 in debt from trying to maintain the lifestyle Madison demands. That Aurelius bag? He bought it with a credit card that's about to be declined. He turned back to the camera. The apartment Sophia lives in? I own it, not under my name, under one of my holding companies. She has 30 days to vacate. The car she drives, that white Mercedes she's so proud of, leased under my company, it's being repossessed tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp. Sophia finally found her voice. Robert, please, I didn't mean... You didn't mean it? He pulled up his phone again. Let's review what you didn't mean. 3 days ago, you told Madison I was, quote, genetic waste that you were planning to dispose of after you'd extracted maximum value. Last week, you told your sister that marrying me was, quote, the biggest mistake of your life, but at least the divorce would set you up nicely. He swiped to another recording. Oh, and here's my favorite. 2 weeks ago, you were on the phone with someone named Richard, your sugar daddy, I believe, promising him that once you divorced your pathetic loser husband, you'd be all his. Richard, if you're watching this, your wife Janet is too. She hired a private investigator last month. Hi, Janet. The viewer count was climbing again as people flooded back from the Aurelius stream, which was now showing a simple message. Our CEO is handling a personal matter. Please stand by for an important announcement. Every credit card in your wallet was just canceled, Robert continued. Your access to all bank accounts has been frozen pending the divorce proceedings. Your phone bill, which I've been paying, will be disconnected in exactly 1 hour. The health insurance, the gym membership, the spa treatments you get twice a week, all canceled as of right now. Sophia's phone was going insane with notifications. Her follower count was plummeting as people unfollowed in real time. Brands were posting statements distancing themselves from her. Her carefully crafted image was crumbling in front of 50,000 witnesses. "But wait," Robert said, his voice taking on an almost cheerful tone. "There's more. Remember your little trip to Miami last month? The one you said was for a brand partnership? You were actually meeting with 3 different men from that sugar daddy website. I have the hotel records, the dinner receipts, and yes, the security footage." He pulled out a manila folder. That had been sitting beside him the whole time. "Divorce papers, already filed. Your belongings will be packed and placed in storage. The storage unit is paid for exactly 30 days. After that, it's your problem." Sophia dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her perfectly contoured face. "Robert, please, I love you. I made mistakes, but I love you. You love me." Robert's laugh was cold. "You love Aurelius. You love status. You love money. You love attention. But me, you haven't loved me in years if you ever did at all." He stood to leave, then turned back one last time. "Oh, and that consulting work I do? I was being honest about that. I do consult for Fortune 500 companies about fashion trends and luxury market positioning. My hourly rate is $12,000. I worked 3 hours yesterday. That's more than you've ever actually earned in a month." The live stream was suddenly flooded with comments from verified accounts. The official Versace account. "Mr. Chen Aurelius is a legend in our industry." The official Gucci account. "We've been trying to partner with Aurelius for years. Robert is a visionary." The official account of a major fashion magazine. "Robert Chen Aurelius revolutionized sustainable luxury fashion. He's a genius." Sophia was sobbing now, mascara running down her face in black streams. "Please, Robert, please don't do this. I'll change. I'll delete everything. I'll apologize." Robert looked at her with something that might have been pity. "Change? Sophia, you just spent an hour humiliating me in front of 50,000 people. You called me a loser, pathetic, embarrassing, and worthless. You said you were doing charity work by staying married to me. You can't take that back." He walked toward the door, then stopped. "Your viewers should know one more thing. Every single time you insulted me, every time you said I embarrassed you, every time you compared me to other men, I was literally sitting on $2.8 billion. I could have bought you everything on that dream board with the interest I earn in a single day. But I wanted to see if you loved me for me. I got my answer." Madison's voice crackled through the speaker one more time. "Sophia, Tom just left me. He said he can't pretend anymore. He's been sleeping in his car for 2 months. We've been evicted. I'm coming to stay with you," Robert laughed. "Good luck with that, Madison. Sophia won't have anywhere to stay either. Maybe you can both move back in with your parents." "Oh wait, Sophia. Didn't you tell them you were a multi-millionaire influencer? That's going to be an awkward conversation." He opened the door, where 2 movers were already waiting with boxes. "These gentlemen will be packing your things. You have 1 hour to take what's yours. Anything you've purchased with my money stays here, so basically you can take the clothes you bought before we met, and that's about it." Sophia lunged toward him, but one of the movers stepped between them. "Please don't make this harder than it needs to be, ma'am." Robert pulled out his phone one final time. "I'm posting this entire live stream on Aurelius's official channels. All 18 million followers will see exactly who you are. Every fashion house in the world will know what you did. You wanted to be famous, Sophia. Congratulations. You're about to be the most famous disaster in fashion history." He walked out, leaving Sophia collapsed on the floor of what used to be her home, while 50,000 viewers watched her complete destruction in real time. The woman who'd spent years building her image as a fashion influencer had just been exposed as a fraud by the man who actually owned the fashion world she desperately wanted to be part of. Within an hour, the clips had gone viral globally. Sophia's Instagram account lost 400,000 followers in a single day. Every brand she'd ever worked with posted statements disavowing any relationship with her. The sugar daddy website banned her profile. Even her own sister posted a statement saying she was disgusted by Sophia's behavior. But the real destruction was just beginning. 3 days later, Sophia received a letter from Aurelius's legal team. They were suing her for defamation, citing her repeated false claims about their brand and her unauthorized use of their products in her content. The lawsuit sought damages of $50 million. Her attempts to find a lawyer were futile. Every major firm in Los Angeles had connections to Aurelius or wanted to maintain good relationships with the fashion giant. The few lawyers willing to take her case wanted massive retainers she couldn't afford. The apartment building where she'd planned to stay with friends. Robert owned that too, through another holding company. She was banned from the property. The gym where she worked out and networked? Robert was a major investor. Her membership was revoked. The restaurants where she loved to be seen? Most had Aurelius corporate accounts. She was politely but firmly turned away. Within a week, she was staying at a budget motel in the valley, paying with cash she'd hidden in her jewelry box, about $3,000 total. Her phone had been shut off, so she was using the motel's Wi-Fi on an old tablet to watch her world crumble online. Jeremy, the ex she'd praised so highly, he posted a video distancing himself from her, claiming he barely knew her and that she'd been obsessed with him. He also admitted that his designer clothes were indeed fake and that he was actually working as a waiter at a chain restaurant. Madison fared no better. Tom had filed for divorce, revealing that their entire lifestyle had been funded by massive debt and fraud. She was facing criminal charges for credit card fraud after it was discovered she'd opened multiple cards in Tom's name without his knowledge. Richard, the sugar daddy, wasn't even rich. His wife, Janet, revealed in a viral Facebook post that Richard was a middle manager at a rental car company who'd been embezzling funds to pay for his arrangements. He was arrested 2 weeks later. Meanwhile, Robert's revelation had the opposite effect on his business. Aurelius International's stock price jumped 12% in a week. The story of the CEO who'd tested his wife's loyalty struck a chord with millions of people. Orders flooded in from customers who wanted to support a company run by someone with integrity. Fashion Week in Paris sent him a personal invitation to showcase Aurelius's new line. The Met Gala committee reached out about honoring him at their next event. Every major fashion magazine wanted an exclusive interview with the man who'd been hiding in plain sight, but Robert declined most of the attention. He released a simple statement through Aurelius's corporate channels: fashion should be about self-expression, not status. Luxury should be about quality, not price tags. Love should be about character, not credit cards. I learned these lessons the hard way, but I learned them. I hope others can learn from my experience without having to live it. 6 months passed. Sophia was working at a department store in a mall, folding clothes for minimum wage plus commission. Her manager didn't know about her past. She'd applied under her middle name and had changed her appearance drastically. Gone were the extensions, the designer clothes, the perfect makeup. She looked like what she was, a 32-year-old woman starting over from nothing. One day, while arranging a display of handbags, she saw a familiar face through the store window. Robert was walking past with a woman, brunette, beautiful in an understated way, wearing jeans and a simple white t-shirt. They were laughing about something, his arm around her shoulders casually. The woman was Dr. Emily Chen, a pediatric surgeon who'd been featured in Forbes for her charity work providing free surgeries to children in developing countries. She'd met Robert at a medical fundraiser where he'd donated $10 million without asking for any recognition. She had no idea who he was until their third date. Sophia watched them pass, remembering how she'd once walked beside him, embarrassed by his simple clothes and modest demeanor. Now she folded $10 t-shirts for customers who treated her the way she'd once treated retail workers, with barely concealed disdain. Her coworker nudged her. "Stop daydreaming and help this customer." Sophia turned to see Madison standing there, holding a clearance rack purse. Madison's face went pale when she recognized her. "Sophia? Is that you?" They stared at each other for a moment. Two women who'd once spent their days planning how to extract maximum value from the men in their lives, now reduced to minimum wage jobs and clearance rack shopping. "The purse is an extra 20% off today," Sophia said quietly. Madison nodded, unable to meet her eyes. "Thanks." As Madison walked away with her $17 purse, Sophia returned to folding shirts. Through the window, she could still see Robert and Emily getting into a car, not a Lamborghini or a Bentley, but a simple Tesla. Robert still didn't care about showing off his wealth. He never had. That's what she'd never understood. A year later, Sophia was still working retail, though she'd been promoted to assistant manager. She lived in a studio apartment in a modest neighborhood, drove a 15-year-old Honda Civic, and hadn't posted on social media in months. Her Instagram account, once the center of her universe, had been deleted. Robert's divorce from her had been finalized quickly and quietly. He'd married Emily in a small ceremony with just family and close friends. No media, no influencers, no spectacle. The photos that leaked showed him wearing a simple black suit that probably cost less than the shoes Sophia used to dream about. But he looked happy. Genuinely, authentically happy. Aurelius International had launched a new initiative under his leadership, a program providing professional wardrobes to people entering the workforce from disadvantaged backgrounds. The Dignity Through Design program had already helped 10,000 people get jobs by ensuring they had appropriate interview and work attire. In an interview with Vogue, Robert was asked about his ex-wife and the viral livestream incident. "It taught me something important," he'd said. "You can't buy character, you can't fake integrity, and you can't dress up a shallow soul in designer clothes and expect it to become beautiful. True beauty, true worth comes from within. My ex-wife taught me that, not in the way she intended, but she taught me nonetheless." The interviewer asked if he had any regrets. "Just one," Robert replied. "I regret not being honest from the beginning, not about my wealth. That test was valid, but about my disappointment in how she was changing. I should have addressed it directly instead of letting it fester. Maybe things would have ended differently, or maybe they would have ended sooner. Either would have been better than what happened." The interview went viral, with millions of people praising his grace and maturity. Sophia saw it while on her break at work, watching on her phone in the stockroom. She'd cried then, not for what she'd lost, but for what she'd never really had. She'd been so focused on the Aurelius brand that she'd never seen the Robert Hart. 3 years passed. Sophia had worked her way up to store manager. She'd started dating a guy named Marcus, a teacher who drove a 10-year-old truck and thought a fancy dinner meant Olive Garden. But he was kind, funny, and treated her with respect. He knew about her past. It was impossible to hide in the age of Google, but he didn't care. "People make mistakes," he'd said simply. "What matters is what you learn from them." One evening, while having dinner at a small Italian restaurant, Sophia saw them again. Robert and Emily, now with a toddler in a high chair between them. The child was wearing a simple onesie that probably came from Target, despite his father being worth billions. Robert saw her too. Their eyes met across the restaurant. For a moment, Sophia expected anger, smugness, or dismissal. Instead, Robert simply nodded, a small acknowledgement, neither friendly nor hostile. Then he turned back to his family, helping his daughter eat her spaghetti while Emily laughed at the mess she was making. Sophia turned back to Marcus, who was telling a story about one of his students. She found herself actually listening, actually caring about the 7-year-old who'd finally learned to read after months of struggle. There was no Instagram story to post, no image to curate, no followers to impress. Just a real moment with a real person who saw her as more than a number of likes or a brand partnership. It had taken losing everything to realize that everything she'd thought mattered actually didn't. This story shows us something profound about the difference between surface and substance. Sophia had spent years building an image, a following, a carefully curated life that looked perfect from the outside. She'd measured worth in designer labels and social media metrics, judging her husband by the clothes he wore rather than the character he possessed. Robert, on the other hand, had built something real, a multi-billion-dollar empire that employed thousands and created beauty that would outlast any Instagram post. But more importantly, he'd maintained his integrity, his humility, and his sense of what truly mattered. He'd tested his wife not out of cruelty, but out of hope that she loved him for who he was, not what he could buy. The cruel irony was that Sophia had everything she claimed to want. She was married to a fashion icon, a billionaire who could have draped her in Aurelius from head to toe every single day, but she was so blinded by appearances that she couldn't see the empire. Standing right in front of her, in a $20 Walmart shirt. People who measure others by money can't see actual worth. They're so focused on the price tags that they miss the priceless. Sophia wanted an Aurelius-level man, never realizing she'd married the man who was Aurelius. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is the most powerful. The one not trying to impress anyone often has nothing to prove because they've already proven everything that matters. Robert didn't need designer clothes to announce his success. His success spoke for itself in the quality of what he'd built and the integrity with which he'd built it. Betrayal reveals character, both the betrayers and the betrayeds. Sophia's public humiliation of Robert revealed her shallow values and cruel nature. But Robert's response revealed something else entirely: patience, strategic thinking, and the ability to deliver justice without losing his dignity. The most expensive lesson in life is learning that the things that cost the most money are often worth the least in real value. Sophia lost a husband worth billions chasing an image worth nothing. She traded substance for surface and ended up with neither. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to see what really mattered. Only after Sophia lost Robert, lost her platform, lost her false friends, and lost her carefully constructed image, could she begin to build something authentic. Working retail, living modestly, dating a teacher. These weren't punishments, but opportunities to discover who she really was when the cameras weren't rolling. Robert's revenge wasn't just about exposing Sophia's affairs or her sugar daddy profile. It was about revealing the fundamental truth that she'd valued the wrong things all along. She'd worshipped at the altar of Aurelius while mocking the man who'd built the temple. If this story of ultimate justice and karma satisfied you, I need your help to continue bringing these incredible tales. Our goal is 500 subscribers, and every single subscription brings us closer to that dream. Please hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell. Your support means absolutely everything to us and makes these videos possible. If you think Sophia got exactly what she deserved, give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts. What would you have done in this situation? Do you think the response was fair, or should it have been handled differently? I read every single comment and love hearing your perspectives. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that patience, integrity, and karma always win in the end. Someone who might be going through their own betrayal and needs to know that justice eventually comes. Thank you so much for watching this story of fashion, betrayal, and the ultimate revelation that true worth can't be measured in designer labels. Remember, character always outlasts cash, integrity always defeats arrogance, and the truth always finds its way to light. I'll see you in the next story, where we'll uncover another tale of betrayal, revenge, and the sweet satisfaction of karma catching up with those who deserve it most. Until then, stay strong, stay true, and never let anyone make you feel less than you are.